I think every weekend should be a 3-day weekend. Like last weekend was so nice, and now I'm feeling a little tired, and just like one more day would make all the difference.
I think that we should be on a 4-day work week already. Yeah.
Yeah, like 4 10s.
Some companies let you do that. They'll let you just work 4 10s and then you'll be
Yeah,
off.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I've got nice flexibility. Like not quite to the degree of 4 10s, but still, man, just something about the 3-day work weekend followed by the 4-day work week is just it feels like the right balance. It makes 5 and 2 feel so like messed up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't.
Maybe.
Yeah, I've never really. I mean, I work every day, so I don't know what I.
Right, and I know we're kind of speaking from a place of privilege in that we're the Monday through Friday. Not everyone even has that luxury of like that reliable 2-day weekend, but still.
Right.
Yeah, once you get used to it. But yeah.
Well, the Spanish Grand Prix is in the books. It happened.
Easy for you to say.
Was it? Was that easy? Is that what easy sounded like to you? Interesting. Yeah. Coming up, we have the Canadian Grand Prix, the Austrian Grand Prix, British, Belgian, Hungarian, and then Dutch, Italian. I mean, we got a lot of races left, obviously, but it's interesting they're going to go to Canada and then go right back over.
Yep. They're going to be just over the border to the north.
Over the border.
Over the border? Is that right?
Up the border sounds like some sort of government program for people near the border. Sign up for at Up the Border.
Don't actually go there. We don't know what that is.
I've never actually heard of it yet. What was Verstappen doing?
Bully.
Why was he on the hard tire?
I don't think he knew.
Welcome to Wit and Grit, where Ian and Sean break down sports betting, pop culture, or whatever's on their minds. The Wit and Grit Podcast.
All right, welcome back to Effing Around with F1 on the Wit and Grit podcast. It is June 1st, Spanish Grand Prix in the books. Another McLaren masterclass, some Verstappen rage, possibly a farewell tour in Barcelona as well.
Oh, yes. It was a race. I mean, it was one of the more entertaining races because of how late that safety car hit. Before we dive in, go hit All In with Ian, Substack. Early odds, fresh betting picks. Almost all of my picks are free. There is a paid tier if you want to get into the nuanced picks. HammeredSharkProductions.com. You can also sign up for that there. See our podcast clips, everything else we're up to. And we're not here to tell you how to spend your money. These are our bets, our reads, and what we liked based on the data. Always bet smart and always bet within your means. If you or someone you know is struggling with gambling, help is available. Visit ncpgambling.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER. For listeners in Virginia, that's 1-888-532-3500. And in North Carolina, it's 1-877-718-5543.
Yep, here to help you think sharper, not to make decisions for you.
Bingo, bango.
All right, so let's start with the win. Piastri goes to pole 1 and gets a 10-point championship lead with Lando right behind him in P2, completing the McLaren 1-2 that now matches the total number of 1-2s from Hamilton and Fernando Alonso. That's 4 each. Pretty impressive stuff out of McLaren this season, honestly.
Yeah, McLaren is on a dominant path where the biggest storyline has really been which driver, right? Norris started to show a little bit of life the last couple of weeks, but Piastri's back to say, okay, I'm still having that year. He's 24. He's ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting a lot of really good qualifying from Piastri, and it's translating into results too. I mean, that's been a lot of the story this season is that qualifying tends to give a really good insight into how things are going to shake out. And Piastri's been good at kind of managing that top spot. Honestly, I think Lando has kind of been better at closing gaps, though, and kind of progressing up the board. It's been interesting. I think right now,
the one time we saw him really lose and get knocked down into third, he didn't really get back up.
Exactly. And I think Lando's shown us that he has a little bit more of ability to do that. Not to take flowers away from Piastri. Great race out of him today. You mentioned the safety car. That was the latest ever in this particular Grand Prix. Grand Prix. Now who can't say it? But Red Bull gave Max. Yeah, exactly.
Max tried to spoil the McLaren day. Verstappen overtook Lando early, knowing he wouldn't risk contact in a title fight. But by lap 13, Norris took back P2. From there, it was McLaren's race until the lap 58 safety car flipped everything. That's when I thought my dart on Verstappen to win really had life, because Piastri and Norris had put out some serious time, as you were just mentioning.
Yeah.
And they closed the gap.
Yep, absolutely. And the hard tire move by Red Bull for Max, he didn't love that. It didn't work out for him. Things just got kind of crazy there at the end.
It opened the door for Charles Leclerc to blow up by my betting slip. Max got overtaken, got mad, and we got chaos.
He got so mad on the radio.
Ooh. Let's talk about George Russell versus Verstappen.
Yeah, on that restart, Max got passed by Leclerc and then collided with Russell. Red Bull told Max to give him the place back, which he was not happy about. Slowed down at turn 5, let George kind of draw in, then he turned in and hit him again, and it seemed not good.
Stewards gave him a 10-second penalty, but Russell summed it up. That's how Max goes racing, per race fans. Max refused to say whether it was intentional. His words, doesn't matter.
I mean,
that's Max Verstappen. That's Max Verstappen.
Yeah,
so
it seemed pretty intentional, honestly.
But
I don't know. This is again from a new fan's perspective. It seemed like it was.
Man, he's walking.
But I mean, that's
10
that's 10
points.
Exactly. Yeah, a couple more, and that's going to be a ban, and some of those don't expire until late October. So this implosion with Red Bull is starting to become a very real thing.
How long is Yuki Tsunoda? I mean, Yuki Tsunoda is just not impressing at all.
Unfortunately not. No, I know I was particularly excited for him, when he made his first start earlier in Japan, but to really know, fruits, there's nothing's coming of that really. He's just kind of racing and he had that one top 10 finish, but not really scoring.
What about that moment where he didn't let Verstappen through?
Yeah. You got to know better than that.
I wouldn't be surprised with 2 weeks to see if would Yuki get changed out. Is his seat kind of hot?
I don't know. I mean, everyone was high on him the first couple of weeks. Understandably, he wasn't going to come out and podium, but people were saying that hey, things are going well, and just it's starting to, like I said, kind of like all right, we're spinning our wheels here, for lack of a better term. We need to see a little more.
Yep. As far as the shark scale goes for the bets, we hit S for silent.
Okay.
That safety car, actually, when we thought it was going to make everything happen, it torpedoed everything.
Yikes.
Almost everything we had in was on pace to hit. And then with the chaos came the more high variance outcome we didn't expect. We had low variance plays in, but them's the breaks.
Yeah.
We give out the warning. You don't bet what you don't want to lose,
Yeah, that's right.
But we're gonna have an early play. We're gonna have an early play on Canada. I don't think it'll be this week, but it'll be either this week or next week. We're gonna be. Look for the newsletter. It's gonna be an early play. It's gonna have a lot better odds. So if you dive on it early, you'll get. When you look at the odds on Saturday compared to the odds on like Monday or Tuesday,
so different.
Obviously with the qualifying risk because you don't know where the driver's gonna start. But if a driver usually lands in a certain range, we're going to start taking darts. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I know we mentioned that, of course, you expect drivers like Verstappen, Piastri, Norris to do well. And that for that reason, it's a little harder to make some money on those kind of drivers. But, talking about other guys like someone like a Hulkenberg, today, for instance, going from 15 to 5. Then you had
Crazy.
someone, Hajar as well. I know you're really into him lately also.
Isaac Hajar.
Yes.
Or Isaac Hajar. I don't know. I hear some people say Isaac, some people say Isaac. I would say Isaac.
Yeah, and is it Hajar?
Hajar, yeah.
Okay. We're going to do our best to get these names right.
Yeah, we're American. I love Hajar. Kid scored 14 points in 2 races. That's more than Red Bull's entire team total, just 13. Let that sink in.
That's crazy. That's a Gasly too. I know we were talking about maybe giving him a chance to prove it, and he kind of he must listen. He must.
You want to get in the math, Sean? Let's get in the math.
Sure.
The numbers. When I was looking at the numbers and the opportunities, I was actually looking at one of the plays we had was Hajar and Albon,
and
I turned away the play of Gasly and Hulkenberg and Fernando because I was just like, I've seen a lot of these guys crash recently. They're on the no bet list.
Right.
The one guy I went with is the one that crashed. All
Albon.
the guys the numbers that I had on Hulkenberg, if I just trusted the numbers and not my bias, it would have been a very different day, I think, on that one. But props to Nico. That's like, man, I didn't see that coming. Literally, after the shakeup post safety car, I was like, how did he get up there?
No, I mean, like I said, the midfield was really fun to watch today. So we'll be trying to figure out how to potentially make a little bit of money on that coming up.
Carlos Sainz, though.
Yeah.
P14.
Yeah, not quite what the home crowd was looking for there.
Yeah, they got a whisper, not a roar.
Looking at some big picture stuff, though, this might be one of Barcelona's final F1 laps. The city is only under contract through next season, where Madrid is going to actually have the street race debuting next year, and they're going to be the race that gets the title of the Spanish Grand Prix. So it'll be interesting to see what becomes of Barcelona. It is still being run next year, but there are no confirmed plans past next year to do a race in Barcelona.
Circuit president Miguel Sampor says talks are ongoing, but it's complicated. New races bring cash, and F1 wants glitz. Alonso and Verstappen have defended keeping the track. History's on their side. Mansell versus Cena in 91. Max's first win here at 18. So it wasn't his day it wasn't his Spanish Grand Prix today. It's the only time he's going to finish outside the podium since 2021.
Yeah, and it's a circuit that the teams really like because it's something of a benchmark for them. You kind of, if your car works there, it can work anywhere sort of thing. But, infrastructure issues, the traffic, transportation, aging facilities, that really hasn't helped. And Madrid is just, I think it's going to be flashier, but it's tough to build a good circuit from scratch. There's a, high likelihood that it's not going to be as good as Barcelona, at least not initially.
What did Hamilton say? 95% chance it's worse?
I think so. Yeah. And I mean, that's someone whose opinion you definitely value there.
He's been very outspoken about some of the recent enhancements, saying wasted a lot of people's money.
Yeah. Yeah. He's someone that wants what's best for the sport, what's best for the fans. So like I said, definitely value his opinion.
Let's talk about Hamilton for a second. So he was one of our top 6 plays, and apparently we should have had Leclerc because Hulkenberg overtook him at the very end and knocked him out of top 6, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So that's nuts. And I can't, they keep hyping up Hamilton, and then that's 2 races in a row. We've seen them have to tell him, hey, let Leclerc through.
Yeah, right.
He's doing better.
That's gotta be so tough to swallow, the pride that these guys must have to set aside. That's gotta be interesting to grapple with.
Yeah, that's safe to say. Let's see. I'm trying to find the Blue Sky tab here real quick.
It's just nuts to see how dominant McLaren's been. I mean, since you and I have been kind of really watching and covering this, it seems like that's all we've been talking about is how great a team McLaren has. The drivers are excellent. It's just Ferrari definitely performed well today as well. They P3 and P6, that's excellent. Mercedes, a bit of a bounce back on the whole with Russell there at 4. You'd have liked to have seen
a lot better than last week.
Yeah, you'd like to have seen Antonelli finish, but getting Russell up there, just outside of podium's nice.
All right, let's see here. I've got, just to do our review before we finish it off,
Yeah.
check on the official page here. Courtesy of X. Follow us on X. Piastri wins.
Here we go.
Dramatic restart. Here it
Oh,
was.
yeah, the footage from Verstappen's car, right?
Right, yep. Just the bump. And then right there. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the McLaren 1-2 again. They're getting chances to change out who gets recognized for having 2 drivers on the podium.
Yeah.
They didn't even send Zach again. They sent the head engineer, I believe, or the chief engineer. So it's like, that's how good McLaren is doing. Leclerc gets his first podium of the year.
Yeah, good for him. Really good race out of him.
Yeah. And Ferrari moves up past Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship. So let's do the quick rundown of the standings before we get out of here.
Let's hear it.
Piastri leads with 186 points in the driver standings. Lando Norris behind him in second at 176. Verstappen's at 137. George Russell's at 111. Leclerc now at 94. Lewis Hamilton's at 71. And then Kimi Antonelli, whose car just shuts off when it feels like it, is at 48. And Albon, who didn't have a great day today, was at 42. Hajar, our favorite driver, 21. At least my favorite driver. Not so far right now. It's always a changing title. And then Haas has a car. Ocon is at 20. Hulkenberg, 16. And then we're done reading there.
So the McLaren drivers are far and away in the lead with Piastri.
Yeah, but Red Bull's Verstappen's got a shot, though.
A shot, yeah.
George
Right.
Russell's at 111. There's a lot of races left. Leclerc.
Yeah, there are, but
Leclerc
you would need to
being
see
able
some
to
bad
pass
racing.
Hamilton
Yeah.
every time is gonna. If Leclerc can get up there, he's ready to emerge.
You would just need to see some bad qualifying, I think, out of McLaren for them to really have a chance to fall out of those positions, though, because I think as long as they keep qualifying well, the drivers are good enough, Piastri and Norris, to hold those positions, and I don't think you see them fall out of 1 and 2 in the drivers personally.
McLaren in the constructor standings, to your point, McLaren 362 points, 7 wins and 16 podiums. Ferrari's at 165 and 3 podiums. And Mercedes, who just got passed, as we mentioned, is at 159 with 4 podiums. Red Bull's at 144, which is notable, 2 wins, 4 podiums. None of them are Yuki Tsunoda, are they?
Nope. I think he
won Japan last
once.
season.
I don't think Yuki?
Didn't he win Japan last year?
No, he's never won a race. This is his first time starting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he got
started
his
Japan.
start in Japan.
Yeah. That was the significance. Yep.
So Williams is at 54 in 5th. And that's the big drop off there with who's really competing for the constructors. It's Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren.
Yeah, and again, McLaren's just like really resetting the standard of racing and driving. As far as I'm concerned, it's just week after week. Yeah, it's week after week.
Their year.
Nope.
Well, tune into the All In with Ian Substack. We'll be giving out some NBA Finals picks as well, which we'll dive more into on the next Wit and Grit podcast, which will be coming up sometime later this week, usually Wednesday into Thursday, Thursday into Friday. We're just going to look at when. I think the first game's on Thursday, so maybe we might be aiming for Wednesday, but Sean and I will talk about that off air.
That's right. Ian will be updating the Substack. All in with Ian.substack.com. Also, HammerSharkProductions.com has that live feed as well. So be sure to check that out.
Yep. And until then, how about them Pacers? Remember that Thunder Pacers ticket I gave out a couple weeks ago where you could get that at, what was that, -110?
Something strong.
The Thunder win now. I'm just going to sit on it and wait. Peace out.
Later.